Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print, the Force is with the readers, and we continue with the Marvel series in November of 1984. Yes, it is the post-Return of the Jedi era. I'm your host, Nathan P. Butler. The issue we're looking at this time is entitled Cat's Paw. It is issue number 93 of the series. Now, this is kind of a beat-up copy here, you notice, a little bit on the edges. Probably can't see it that much, a little wrinkly. This one I had when I was a kid. My good copy is actually this one right here. This is, again, issue 93 entitled Cat's Paw. This is by the creative team of Mary Jo Duffy and Sal Buscema, if I'm saying that correctly, doing the pencils. So we have a new artist or an unusual artist involved in this particular issue, and it is an odd story. You can find it these days in the pages of Star Wars Omnibus a long time ago, Volume 5, as we're rounding out the series here. I should also note, by the way, that with this being in November of 84, that also means it is at the same time as the release of the first version of A Guide to the Star Wars Universe. This is the one by, Raymond L. Velasco, rather than being by Bill Slavicsek, the only one of these by him. So it's a nice guidebook for Star Wars fans. We'll be doing guidebooks a little bit, but as a sort of a separate side series here. And this is also the month that saw the television debut of The Ewok Adventure, aka Caravan of Courage, on television. This, of course, is the original VHS release. It was also released later as a double feature with the Battle for Endor on DVD, as you may recall. There's a lot of reflecting here. As you may recall, in recent years here. We'll be dealing with some of the tie-ins with Ewoks and such in the very near future, but not the films per se, because that's not a bookshelf or a library-style item here. Maybe there'll have to be a whole new series of supplemental things for videos. Now, this is an issue that takes place on the planet Saijo, at least initially starts on the planet of Saijo. And that is kind of a big deal, I guess, because that's also where the last issue of the Marvel series will take place. Nothing really in between, but they will come back to that as a familiar location so that there's at least some reference point for us to think about it in terms of what it was like before and after the Nagai-Toth War. The majority of the story, though, will take place on the planet Cantros 7, and this one is a bit of an odd one, as I said. We start out with an X-Wing fighter being attacked by 3 Y-Wings, begging the question, how is this possible? Now, the obvious answer would be, well, because not everybody who's on a certain side has to fly the same stinking ships. But of course, it's again that whole stereotype of, well, wait a second, this is an X-Wing fighter, these are Y-Wings, they're supposed to be mostly rebel crafts. So, as they are being attacked, our heroes get in the Millennium Falcon, go up there and blast away at the people attacking the X-Wing pilot. Turns out it's this Cantrosian, this feline species here, and this is Minka there with the cat face thing going on, though a different species from the telepathic cat a few issues ago. This one actually has vowels in her name, which is a nice way to be able to tell the difference. The interesting thing here, though, is that she refers to, very early on, the Empire in her home system still being very strong. And at this point, the Marvel series is kind of acting as though now that the Emperor is dead, now that Vader is dead, now the Empire has seen its second Death Star be destroyed, that's it. The fighting is over. The Imperial Remnant is really not a big concern here. They use the word remnant, but they don't really consider it much of a concern. But bear in mind, this, of course, is within about a month after the Return of the Jedi film. So we're dealing with essentially a very compressed time frame in which maybe the Empire really is recoiling enough that they're not much of a concern at the moment. Suffice to say, though, they're all shocked. And she says, rightly so, who have we been fighting? If it's not the Empire, who the heck is it we're up against? They wind up going to the planet, meeting with the native group, the native rebel group, or who think of themselves as the rebel group, and they go to what they think is an Imperial base. Some of them being captured, some of them just following along, only to realize that the people that have captured them think they're the rebels. Each side, there are 2 factions here, each side of kitty cat people thinks that the other side is the Empire and that they themselves are the rebels. Both sides are basically being played against each other by someone who's supposedly working for both sides, who winds up captured here at the end, named Durn. D-U-R-N-E. Durn. But it begs the question of what is going on in the galaxy at the moment. It seems like there's these different groups trying to instigate things again, often in the name of the Empire. What is the deal? In fact, Luke even basically says the same thing. Leia says at one point, Luke, what's the matter? It's over. We've won. Why are you so sad? And he answers, I know, but it won't bring back all of the dead, rebels killed by rebels. We killed a few of them ourselves, you know. To which Leia replies, We also saved a lot of lives. The killing is over now. Is it? He replies, I hope so. But I'll feel a lot better if we can just find out who Dern was really working for. What's going on in this galaxy, he asks. And that we will slowly find as we go along in the Marvel series is essentially these sort of remnants of Imperials who are instigating things, working in some cases with the Nagai, in some cases with the Toffs and such. So we're sort of building up this idea that there's some other faction in play in the galaxy far, far away. We're told at the end that the next issue will be Small Wars, and this time it actually is going to be Small Wars, which we'll cover in an upcoming episode here. So a quick little story, essentially two sides being played against the middle, but again, it's bringing up that constant recurring theme of something's not quite right that'll finally wind up exploding a few issues down the line. So, this particular story, Cat's Paw, is this an essential read? No, it's not. It's a decent story. I mean, I don't think it's a bad story at all. It's just not one that's essential to understand the grand scheme of things. I mean, aside from that quick little comment by Luke at the end, there's really no sense that it ties into much at all in the overall scheme, except for the Sideshow planet location that at this point, we really don't realize is going to come back, and when it does come back, it's sort of a blink and you'll miss it name reference, really. So, not an essential read, but a decent one. Again, Cat's Paw, issue 93 of the Marvel series. Might want to check it out. Good story. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the readers.